each and every day. Love and live your way. Do your very best. Learn and lead today. Be the best you can. It's your life. Take a stand, so live your best life. Live your best life. Come on and live your best life. With Dr. Julia Royston. Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Julia Royston, over the top, ecstatic, and excited for day 2 of Educational Summit 2020. Oh my goodness. Please share this broadcast. Please tag your educator friends, the parents, your anybody who is interested, your business partners, anyone who is a community leader. Let's have a conversation about the upcoming learning year. Now, I first want to tell you the Educational Summit 2020 is a part of the Live Your Best Life Special Edition, as well as BK Royston Publishing. Talkwithroyston.com if you're interested in publishing a book, as well as Live Your Best Life is heard every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at envision-radio.com. That's envision-radio.com. All right, the commercials are out of the way. I am super excited to have 3 women. Baby, he'll be in a minute, coming back and forth. But these are educators, administrators who are. I want to introduce themselves. We're going to start off with the Williams, and I want them to introduce themselves. Basically, tell us what your role is in your school district, and then we'll reach out to Dr. Nettles.
Okay, my name is Shaniece Williams, and I am currently working with at-risk youth from ages, I guess, 9 through 12 in GED. And I specialize in alternative education, again, at-risk struggling students, and also a health sciences instructor.
Oh, okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, that was Dr. Edward Williams Jr., who went to assist their young one. And while he's gone, I want to go ahead and say, even before I get to Dr. Nettles, I want to say congratulations on your book launch. Do you have your book handy?
Me? Oh,
yeah. Do you have your book handy?
I thought I heard her say Dr. Nettles first, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Before I go to her to Dr. Nettles, do you have your book handy, or did you sell out already?
This is Elijah the Great I Am, and it is about Elijah's first day of school. So it's perfect for this week of school because all of the students are going back either virtually or some form of face-to-face. And it's about his parents speaking positive affirmations over him before he attends school each day. And he has to exhibit those affirmations at school amongst his friends. So great back-to-school book for children ages 2 to 5 years of age that, you know, the parents can read to their children at night or first thing in the morning before they go to school. But it's just those positive words of affirmation that we're reinforcing back into children.
Well, it is perfect, perfect, perfect. We're going to go make sure that you visit their website, ElijahLegacy-books.com. That's Elijah, ELIJAH, Legacy. Of course, they're going to leave a legacy for their next generation, -books.com. So visit that website. Follow them on social media. Find them on Facebook. And she told us earlier before we went live that they already crashed their website. Yay! I love to hear it. Yay! Okay, so Dr. Edward Williams, you're the gentleman of the group. Please introduce yourself and tell us what your role is. Did he leave again? Okay.
Yes, I'm back. So Dr. Edward Williams, administrator at a middle school, and basically doing this tough time right now with COVID-19. As we restart in school, it's very different. So the first day of school, the first week of school, so many different challenges we have to face, and it's just about adapting to these new challenges. This may be a new way of education for a while right now. So the thing is, we just got to learn to get better and just kind of use this to help reach our kids. So.
Exactly. Okay, so did you do anything different with your staff as far as training, professional development, or what did it look like?
Professional development is ongoing this week, and it's tough because we're using a new program. It's Schoology, so it's new to our teachers, it's new for our students. So it's just a transition period right now, getting ready to use Schoology. So
wow,
it's going to take about a week or two, I think, for us to really get proficient with it. So, and I think the next couple of weeks we'll find ourselves.
Okay, so I know Elijah is screaming for your attention. So I got one more question for you. As far as the parents go, what did you really, because I know my principal, I don't know if they do it in middle school, but in elementary school, the principal sent out a letter every year and welcome and hi and all that. But what did your letter look like different this year? Would your communication to parents look a little bit different this year than it had before?
I think it's just a little bit more personal because it's like I said, it's new grounds. The parents they kind of confused about what education gonna look like, how the school, how the school look like, what are the kids gonna do the first day. So it's just a learning period for the parents, for the Falcon and staff, for us all in education. And I think if we continue just to get better, continue to work as a team, we'll get through this and we'll kind of find our groove, and then we can actually transition to some education, and it'll look just like it did before we got it in program.
Exactly. Change is hard, and but you're right. Patience, parents, patience, and persistence, but patience with administrators. Because remember, we're all in this together. And I know that's a cliche, and my husband's like, oh my God, they paint that, they say it all the time, but it is the truth. That's the only way we're going to be able to get through this is if we stick together and we work together. And we definitely do it together. Now, Elijah, you gonna turn around and say hi to the
Elijah,
people?
Are you
gonna say hi to the people?
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, say hello.
He's famous. He's famous. Hi. Oh, he's beautiful. He's adorable. Hi, what's up, everything? It's your day. It's your book release today. Yay! Oh, he's wonderful. So yeah, oh yeah. He's like, oh, I'm on the camera. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get the people.
Oh, he went and got his book too.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Baby, you are famous. You are famous. So, okay, so I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. Dr. Nettles, introduce yourself, because the Williamses can get me off target. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what your role is in your district.
Good evening. And first, congratulations to the Williams. I'm so excited about your book.
Thank you. You've been a really great asset too.
Oh.
I want to commend you for that.
Yes.
You have been great. And so has Julia. Y'all have just been awesome. But if it wasn't for Dr. Nettles introducing me to her.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know, that last night they said, okay, is most of the people from Alabama? I said, well, quite a few, but I got a whole nother family down south.
Yes, family.
But, a whole other family down south.
Yeah. But you guys are great and great people, and I love you to death. So I'm just as excited. So it's just great. But I am Dr. Vernette Clemens Nettles, originally from Mobile. So we had a Mobilian on last night.
Mobile was last night. Yes. Oh my goodness, I should have had you on. She was screaming and hollering. Mobile.
And so I've been in Montgomery since about 2004. But I'm a lifelong educator, and what I do now is personnel evaluation. And so I don't personally evaluate the entire system or all of the administrators. I facilitate the process across certified and classified staff. I make sure that the training takes place for the administrators so that they can deliver the training to their evaluatees, their staff, both certified and classified, and then I kind of coach them along the way throughout the year to make sure that the process hits the benchmarks that it should, moves along, and we can kind of finish up at a reasonable time towards the end of the school year.
Well, I guess my biggest question is, you know, we're still, well, it's not really a question. It is, we're still working. We're maybe working in a different position, but we're still working and should have the same level of professionalism as we did if
Absolutely.
we were going into the building. So, you know, so people have to understand that we still are still held to that higher standard. Now, some people may be lax, and their evaluations are going to reflect that. So, you know, what has been different with you all's evaluation system?
The evaluation system actually will not change.
Mm.
So the beauty of our evaluation system is that it's built along the personal growth model. So there's a self-assessment every year. There is a professional learning plan. Then you spend the course of that year in your professional development, learning and growing. And the key question at the end of the year is, as you assemble your evidence, is not what did you learn, but what did you learn and what did it do for your students?
Right.
So really the entire process is about outcomes. What I suggest every year, and really went down during the summer and spoke with my supervisor and the superintendent about what does evaluation look like this year, because everybody is learning something new. It really doesn't matter how proficient you are right now with technology, you're learning something new, because the amount of virtual learning that will happen is consistent. It's not every now and again I'll post something. It's not I'll send you something via email. It's everyday instruction. And that is new no matter what you've done. So my proposal this year was to create one or two system level objectives and goals. And it needed to be around technology. It needed to be around the virtual learning environment and how that's playing out across the system and within schools. So that's the direction we're going to take. So your professional growth is not going to be going out to find anything different. It really is about what you are doing right now and making it work. So the professional growth really should look good, for lack of a better way to say it, at the end of the year, because we're trying to implement virtual learning with as much efficacy and efficiency that we can. So the professional growth model allows us to do that, and that evaluation will actually be a part of that discussion, because you're not doing anything off the beaten path. Everything we're doing this year is about making sure that we can deliver virtual learning as best we can.
And each district is, you know, if they may be using a different system, but evaluation will happen. So for parents, as well as, you know, community leaders, I'm really reaching out to community leaders as well as parents to know that the same level of professionalism and the standards are still going to be in place. And just because the teacher is not in the building physically walking down the hallways, there's a clock that has to be punched, there are expectations that have to happen. And even though they're in Alabama and I would retired from Kentucky and live in Indiana, it's still the same high levels of information and learning and delivery of that learning still has to take place. You know, go ahead.
The beauty of Montgomery, and I can't speak for any other system, even some of our neighboring systems, our teachers are required to be in the building. So the monitoring of instruction is still going on face to face. I mean, it's our principals are on the ground in the halls, checking to see what kind of instruction is going on. They can log into Schoology, they can log into those platforms and see what the quality of instruction is. Our system, having gone through district accreditation in the past year, our focus is always student engagement, and student engagement is key even in the virtual arena. So there is consistent monitoring, seeking to engage the students, seeking to make sure that they're involved in their learning. It's not just sitting, a teacher sitting in front of a camera and talking to students. There are activities. The IT director put together not the IT director, the IT educational administrator, put together a scavenger hunt for students.
Oh,
so
wow.
They had to be engaged in the platform they were using and listening and being a part of the conversation. So, you know, our teachers are in the building and they're on the ground, and I believe that's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, I think so too. So, Shaniece, talk about the special needs, address the special needs. Has there been any major challenges besides just the regular technology challenges? What has been some of the challenges specifically for the special needs? Because I can get in my mind my autism unit and I'm thinking, oh Lord, you know, they didn't want headphones on when we were in the building, and you know, iPads and the touch screens and all of that, you know, and of course that's the more severe things to small scribes and things of that nature. What does that have to look like?
I think right now everyone has to be patient. And what I mean by that is, like Dr. Nettles said, Schoology and my husband said, Schoology is a new system. Everyone is learning. It's new to parents, it's new to students, it's new to administrators, it's new to teachers. And I think right now people are just frustrated with, you know, change in the process and learning. I think virtual learning is going, and computer-based instruction is going to be a great asset to instruction for students. With the special needs students, and I have adjudicated youth right now, so it looks a little different, but the technology is a barrier because, and I think this is nationwide, you have like Chromebooks and things on back order.
Yeah.
And that's not just Montgomery, that's all across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we get over, and I'm gonna say educators, I'm gonna say, you know, us first, once we get over the frustration of learning something new and just say, hey, this is our new normal, we have to do this, first of all, we have to put students first and take ourselves out of it and our frustrations out of it. And once we do that, I think true learning can take place. I think, again, as Dr. Nettles said, we have to get creative, even in the online learning. And so what that looks like for special needs is they're going to need some additional support. I mean, they were going to need additional support before this whole pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And so we know going into this 2020-2021 school year that even upon the return of face-to-face, we are already busy going into that because they're going to need a plethora of support. It's going to look very different once we get back. Intense instruction, intervention. It may even take some online tutoring after hours for some of these students, because if I'm an essential worker and I'm a parent, I may not be able to monitor my child logging in during school hours. Mm-hmm. I may have to help them from 5 to 8 p.m. And we as educators are just going to be, have to be a little flexible. You have parents that have multiple grade levels, that students attend multiple schools. So you have all of these different factors, and I won't say barriers, but for some it may be a barrier. So for those special needs students, I would even say, I know we're doing virtual, but some students, they need that pen and paper, and they need the opportunity to be able to, and whether we have to mail it to them, give them pickup and, drop off dates. I know it seems like a lot, but some parents are going to need that in addition to the Schoology and online learning. And we just have to be flexible.
Right.
And be patient, because it may look different next week.
It sure could. It sure could. So we can't dig our heels into one way of doing things. I think that's one of they taught us in school that, that we have to be flexible with a lot of learning styles, and you really don't know what that flexibility is. They say that word and, you have to, be able to modify your instruction for all different learning styles. But I think we've all been putting it together. So that's one of the things that we all can understand, but we all can't just rely on, no, we still got to deliver. We still have to give it our absolute best. And so one of the things that I'm always championing is for parents to be advocates for their child. They need to be patient, but they still need to be an advocate for their child and what that actually looks like. because, you know, you may have to do some different things. You know, you may have to make some adjustments. You may have to, you know, partner up with other family members. It may have to look totally different from your immediate child care and what that looks like in your area. And because, you know, the buses may not be running and we're all going to be home, but what is that going to look like? And so, you know, it's going to take an absolute village for that to really, really make that happen. And I'm even reluctant at times to say school year back to school, because it's got to be back to learning. And whatever it's going to take for us to learn is what it's going to take. I mean, you know, and it's going to look different for the learning for everybody. So patience. So we need patience. I'm sorry, Dr. Nettles, were you going to say something?
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. And one of the things that I have been, you know, I watch from afar is our special education department. They have all of the students who have IEPs and plans, they still have to have them. And so and those discussions have to happen with parents.
Yes.
So as they are planning for instruction, as they plan for instruction at the end of the year and pick up that mantle at this part of the year, some of those plans are changing. And as they're communicating with parents about the virtual learning and what's happening at home, some of those plans are being altered so that there is a better opportunity for success for that child, because they are at home. Yeah. So they are getting as much individualized assistance as they can from afar, but the parents really now have a larger part in it because the students are home. Yeah. So, you know, even some of the legal aspects of our students with special needs, that didn't change. Mm-mm. So those plans are still in place. Those plans have to be monitored. They have to be altered. And I think some of our students are, especially with our social workers, and you'll be talking with Ms. Dixon tomorrow, mm-hmm. There are some individual consultations that are going on with the students as well to make sure that they are able to tap into that virtual learning environment and continue to be successful. One of the things as teachers, we need to understand, you know, as adults, we spend a lot of time monitoring our own emotions. And so sometimes we forget that if we're a little depressed or stressed out or have some anxiety about this new way of living we've been living since March, we forget that the children are little people. Mm-hmm. So we have to begin to see some of their anxiety so that we can help them through that. And one of my principal friends, and I believe this is an effort to do that, she didn't spend the whole first week doing the normal things we do. You know, these are your books, this is your instruction, this is what it looks like, these are the rules. She's having Spirit Week. Mm-hmm. So part of the instruction is also getting them engaged and pulling them back in. And we have to do that because we have to figure out how we tap into that energy of the child, because it's diffused. They want to be with their friends. They want to, you know, and some of our parents want them to be with their friends. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do. Some of the parents want, and the educators want them to be with their friends too, because it makes them more comfortable, and, you know, the partnering and the pairing and all that. Right. But, you know, right. We've got to still make those major adjustments. I was talking last evening about how my sister is one of those educators, you know, who wants all the books on the table, the desk in a certain way, and all the labels on the desk. I'm like,
all the chairs,
all the labels. You're not getting that, boo. It's got to be. It's gonna look totally different than it looked before. And I do want to reiterate right here when we're talking about teacher engagement, but also parent engagement, making sure that if something changes, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, that you really reach out and be in communication with your administrators or a problem. So don't take a week before you reach out because you didn't get logged in. communicate with them right away. And if some communication doesn't seem to be happening, because I know we were supposed to communicate with our parents each and every week. So if you're not getting the communication
Right.
you need, if you're not, remember, it's still the child first. It's still the child number one. And all hands are on deck, but you still have to, if there's a block in communication and you don't have the communication that you need, we still need to be able to have that avenue to be able to communicate. So if your phone number changes, if you suddenly move, if one of those things, by any major life changes happen,
Right.
if something happens and you find yourself in a shelter or something of those nature and you have to move in with family, anything happens, let your school know, because I've been in a school, we took care of a whole lot of things for
Right.
parents and families there. We'll talk with the social workers tomorrow, but really know that your school is striving to be there as your friend and partner in this whole process. And in this,
Right.
I wanted you to have different levels throughout this week. Everybody just wasn't a teacher. I wanted administrators from various points of view so that they can see, and then you can reach out to them, follow them on social media, know that they are also these educators that, just in case your school, your PTA, your district needs some additional assistance from another vantage point, from another district with another thought process, to be able to be interviewed on either, I know we're all going to be tired of Zoom and Google Meet and everything else, but this is where we are, so we just gonna roll with it. But what we need is what's in your brain and what's in your heart. The mode of the method of communication, we're not concerned about that. We're concerned primarily that that we get what we need and that the students get what they need as well. So I wanted you to make sure that you had this evening, had opportunity. I'll see if there's any questions out there of any of the parents or anyone who had any questions. I don't see any questions right now, but I know that I really wanted more than anything for people to meet you all, to see you all, and support Elijah's book, as well as Dr. Nettles. I'm going to be posting her books as well. She is an inspirational author. And so if you feel like you're overwhelmed with all this stuff with school and education, she has got some wonderful inspirational poetry and devotionals that you can reflect and mentally veg out and receive some warm comfort of the words she delivers. So feel free to reach out to Dr. Nettles as well. So any last minute thoughts or any other points that you want to really bring out that you said, I really want parents to know, I really want teachers to really be encouraged to know? Either one of them.
Watching the superintendent and the CSFO and the director of academics and human resources, watching them all work this summer has been really inspiring, because the key to every conversation is, what about our children?
Right.
And this has really been a roller coaster. At one point, everybody thought children could come back to school, because we know that in the long run, it's really the best place to be. There's consistency in being at school. There is, and it's not just meals and friends and people, it's the social, emotional tangibility associated with that that's embedded in that academic learning. But for the safety of our children, and when you look at the number of schools and school systems in the last 2 weeks who've sent children back home, in the K-12 arena, it might not be the best solution, but it is the most effective and most safe solution for our students. And so, we've talked about having patience, but we really just want the parents to know that we really did look at as many options and opportunities that we could to make sure that the students could be safe. And you're talking about 30 students in a classroom.
Yeah.
One sick child is 30 children sick, and then those 30 children go home to somebody else and somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No
it's not
perfect
the most,
solution. There's no perfect solution.
There is
Every plan has a hole in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And that's really hard, because I mean, when you're still we're talking about special needs students, especially, with different cognitive levels and different cognitive reception. I mean, just moving from going to a different room where it's time to switch gears to eat, that can be a major transition. So now you're talking about, being at home and being in that environment and not your safe routine environment of your classroom. So that's even more traumatic. And so I think about too the mental trauma of that. I mean, it may not be abuse in some way, shape, or form, but for them, it's very traumatic. If they don't see the same face of their teacher every day, they don't know where the chalkboard is, or not the chalkboard, but the boards are, and where is our calendar for the week, and where are we going for the day, and this is where I hang up my backpack, and this is where I hang up my jacket and my coat, and I've encouraged parents to, we kind of did a makeshift thing in March. Everybody just kind of did school wherever they did the learning, wherever, whether it was in the kitchen table, really doesn't matter, but just knowing, okay, this is my learning space.
Yes.
This is my spot for us to learn. We eat over there, and we, there's the kitchen and refrigerator over there, but here is our learning space. Here are my tools. Here's my, my pencils. This is my notebook and all of that, because that just, it brings it all down. And I think, maybe some parents are aware of it, but others maybe not, that they need to know that, yes, this, I must provide that kind of space. School is not necessarily going to do that in the safety and the best interest of my child.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's
a lot. It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot for everybody.
I'm thankful for retirement. But I wanted to
that's taking place, lately, like you said with your sister, a lot of teachers just said they just, want to retire. They just don't want to deal with it. Well, and not just because of change, but because of health as well.
Yes.
Being high risk candidates.
Rather. And if you're close to it, you might say, well, the dollars I may gain may not be worth it. I might be better in a virtual space 24/7, offering tutoring, etc. It just might be the best place for me. So everybody has to kind of make their own decisions, and and teachers, we like routine too. I mean, come on, let's just confess.
Absolutely.
We like knowing, we like structure, like my sister, sometimes we do want some straight rows, but that doesn't always happen. So it allows you to be creative and to make some changes. So I am super excited. So glad that you all joining me tonight. I'm thankful and appreciative. And I wish we could go into all the 50 states and discuss everybody's district, but everything looks totally different. That's kind of my disclaimer for everything we talked about. You have got to apply these principles that we're going to be talking about all this week, and then hopefully you can transfer them to where you are. They're in Schoology. We're in this area, they're using Google Classroom. So whatever your district has decided, they have done and chosen that for what's best for their district. So therefore, don't rush in and say, are we using Google Classroom? Figure out what they're using, because they're ready for you. All right. So thank you so much for being with me this evening.
Thank you.
Tell Dr. Williams I said good night, and Elijah, sell out. Be sure and look out for their book, and follow them on social media, and you all be blessed. My prayer is today, tomorrow, and always that you live your best life. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.